An overfarming tortoise, a giant bloodbath, and a bunch of trauma. We're going to talk about all that and more on today's review of Daemons of the Shadow Realm, Episode 6. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mark, and today, as I said, we're talking about Daemons of the Shadow Realm, Episode 6. If you want to see my reaction to it for free, you can check it out on Patreon. Link in the description down below and in the pinned comment. We have a lot to talk about today. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. We have a lot to talk about today. I've taken quite a bit of notes, as you can hopefully see. A lot of notes here. A couple pages long. And first off, just want to point out that Left's arms are still crossed. Or at least they were at the beginning. She just aura farms while walking, bro. Or running in this case. But like, come on, man. Come on. Then, let's see. Here, what else is there to talk about? Unfortunately, I did not take a lot of notes at the beginning of the episode, so probably gonna have to skip some of it. But what we do end up seeing is Jin calling her, what's her name, Gabby-chan, about the attack and asking if there's any assailants that she has to deal with, and there are, and they are, they're creepy. I kind of feel bad for them, also kind of don't, because they're kind of creepy, trying to eat her and all that. And that was a scene, man. Those they didn't stand a chance against Gabriel, man. Like Gabriel, he just chomped twice, and they're gone. That's it. That's all he had to do, bro. Was just chomp twice. But that was cool, and she did that because she was told go wild, and then Asa, and we're just gonna skip around. Asa and what's his name? Yoru. I might have called him Yoru during the last review. I apologize if I did, but I'm pretty sure his name is Yoru now. We got to see Asa and Yoru kind of almost reluctantly work together. Or at least reluctantly for Yoru's part. Because he's like, yo, I guess I can distract the white one. And so that happens. And like, I thought those Daemons were pretty cool. They're like yin and yang. That's what it was. And then eventually they fight. Or they try to fight, really. But what ends up happening is that they get kidnapped into a barrier created by the Daemons. And the Daemons are like, yo, we're going to leave now. Because they're trapped. And they're alone. That's the interesting thing. But it's also not interesting. It's interesting, but it's also not. Because we knew that they were the targets of the attack. Whoever set the attack up. We knew they were targets. And so I think that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, at the same time, outside, while they're like trying to get their bearings, the dude, whose name I spent probably 5 minutes during a reaction trying to find his name, Haruo, who has the tortoise and the hare, he drops his tortoise on the Daemon trying to run, and like, yeah, it worked, kind of. It didn't really move, but I will say this: he was scary. Like, he was angry, cause it almost seemed personal in a way. The way he was angry, like how he's like, this guy might know where Asa-chan's parents are. Like yeah, he might be he's a little protective of them, which is interesting. I'm actually really curious about the how they grew up, how what's her name, Asa grew up with them, because I am very curious about that. But then I have to mention this, Jin, bro has it rough. Like, on the one hand, he's injured. On the other hand, he's injured, and he has to deal with Asa's like whole energy, deal with Yoru, deal with an attack, and then he also has to like basically work overtime almost from the looks of it. And he poor guy, I kind of feel bad for him, man. He has it rough. But it is cool that we get some really cool moments with him in this episode, but I'll talk about those a little later. But we're jumping around, as I said, because I'm just gonna talk about what I taken notes for, because that's what I remember the most. We'll start with Asa. She's in like pitch black darkness, and she's alone, and she's looking around wondering where everyone is, but no one's there. And then we see her flash back a little bit to her as a young child, before she was taken away by her parents in that cage prison thing back at the village. And like we see her start to have what looks to me like a panic attack. And that was sad. But then also, before she could go full blown, Right is just like, yo, I'm here. And he calls this true darkness because he can't even see in front of him. He can't see himself. Yeah. And we also see Right be a nice guy because he can smell an unpleasant sweat from like her panicking. And then he's like, "Are you afraid of the dark?" And she doesn't say anything, but it's kind of implied how she acted when he asks that. And so he reaches out and places his hand on her head. And that's just a really sweet moment, man. Because Nice is like, not, I don't know, I called him Nice, bro. But like, Right is like, yeah, don't worry, I'm here. You're not alone. And that was a really great moment, man. That moment actually got me emotional in the reaction, bro. You might be able to see it actually with how emotional that actually did get me a little bit. But then we switch gears from him being sweet and nice to him being scary because he mentions how he is her natural enemy. And that's when we learn something really cool. That according to Asa's father, at least, keyword here, according to what her father said, left and right can stop Break and Seal from getting out of control. They are natural enemies. But the interesting thing is, to me at least, because I originally thought it was more of a, oh, they can they can stop both. But no. Right is what's able to stop Break, and the left can stop Seal. I'm not quite sure how. I'd love to see that in action at least once. And I will say, the fact that this was mentioned, even brought up, that like they can stop them from getting out of control, tells me that at some point they are going to go out of control. One of them. My guess, it might be Yurdu, because he doesn't have experience with this. His first time, it might just go out of control, and like his power might just go everywhere. And so Left will have to come in and stop it. That's my guess, because I don't think they would mention it if it wasn't gonna come into action at least some point. But who knows? It could just be a little piece of plot, like lore, that like doesn't come into action. But I think it's gonna come into action at some point. But that was cool to know. And so we also got a scene with him being a little scary as he's like, "We're natural enemies." Like, yeah, that was just really cool. I really like Right. I like Left as well, man. I really like both of them. They're just so fun as characters, bro. And then also we learned a name. We know nothing about the person, but their name is Hagure Sensei. Apparently he's sleeping after a deadline or something. Because Jin is like, "Yo, is Hagure Sensei there?" And someone's like, "Yo, he's sleeping. He'll kill you if you wake him up." So that's when I was like in the reaction, man, Jin has it rough, bro, because he does, man. And then where else are we? Oh, we also learn that this is a barrier where Asa and Yuru are. It's a barrier made by the Daemons, which that's kind of obvious. Unless they can teleport, that'd be it's kind of teleporting, right? Would it technically be like teleporting? Do we see them get eaten? No, we don't see them get eaten, I don't think. They just sort of disappear. At least to us. They could have actually gotten eaten, but I don't know. If someone disappears, even if it's just to go inside, to be like inside a barrier that someone made, would it be teleporting? Technically, I think yes, but also maybe not. It depends. Does teleporting count? Does the teleporting only consider teleporting if you're teleporting to like the same plane of reality, essentially? Or does it not matter? Because this barrier could be kind of like a little world inside the daemon. I am getting off track. I was just really curious about that. But then we switch over to Yurdu, who's stuck in there with Left, of course. And might I add again, still has her arms crossed. Like, bro, she can only aura farm so much before it becomes excessive. And she aura farmed a lot, man. And so they're together, and they're like, "Where are we? Can't see anything," sort of like that. And Left mentions that this is nothing like she's seen before, and she's been alive for a very long time. She's never seen this before, which is very interesting. Because that means that either she just hasn't seen it because like she hasn't been around, or this could be like a new technique, maybe not a new technique, but like a new like a Daemon ability that wasn't around centuries ago. That's what I'm curious about. I'm really curious about the history of Daemons and whether or not like they sort of progressed, like how humans have progressed through the ages. If the Daemons also progress, whether that's like in appearance, sentience, yeah, I don't know if sentience is the right word, like more like, how do I put this? Like more like voluntary control of themselves. Sentience, I guess it would be sentience, I guess. And stuff like that. I'm actually kind of curious about that. But unrelated to that. Yurdu left is like, yo, aren't you worried or scared? Because before she asked that, he's like, yo, can you help me practice my aiming? My father always said I should always keep my tools ready. And while he's there, he's not gonna waste time, so he's just gonna start practicing. And Left is like, aren't you scared or worried or whatever? But then he's just like, no. And then he looks at her like, I in a way, it's pitiful. I don't know if pitiful is the right word, maybe. But he makes me feel bad for him the way he looks at her. And then he's like, everything confuses me, so I'm used to it now. And like, I do feel bad for him because he essentially had his whole life upended. And it doesn't help as well. I think something that we should talk about is how, yes, people could say the same thing for Asa, that when she first started out, her life was upended as well. But I do think it's different because Yurdu, he's been alive for longer. He's had more experiences and experienced life for much longer before he had his whole life upended, like Asa did. And granted, Asa was also in a cage apparently. So I mean, anything's better than that. But I feel bad for Yurdu, bro. He just, poor guy. I don't have much to say for him, man. He's just sucks for him. I just feel bad. But at least he's not confused right now. And he does get practicing. He has Left hold up a machete. And that's his target. And then he keeps hitting her in the head with it. Because his aim is not great, apparently. But then she's like, it's okay. I'm made of stone. Don't forget that. Essentially. And like, that happened. Let's see. Where are we now? Wrong page. This page. We are back in so we're gonna switch to back outside the barrier. We get to see Jin go on a rampage essentially, and Jin is, as I said so already, he's so cool. He's cool in the same way that I think Deda-san is cool. I love both of them. Their designs are cool. They're really cool as characters, bro. And I am curious who would win, Deda or Jin. Both that being fully healed, my money's on Deda, I think. But like, who knows? It could be Jin. Anyways, but Jin's so cool. He's cleaning up the house. He's just having a bloodbath, and just like, he's just cleaning up. He's using his gun that Makoto gave him. Ai-chan is distracting people and then eating people, and it's just really, really fun because Jin's just so cool. I can't stop talking about him. He's just so cool. But then, and I do also think what's cool about him is that he's doing all this work. And the reason I said I feel bad for him, that he has it rough, is he's injured. As I said, I think I said this earlier, but like, he's injured. He's doing all this while injured, man. He's killing people while injured. He's just like, dude. Okay. Next up. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I am definitely lost in terms of like timeline. But at some point, Asa broke the contract of the Daemons. Well, before that though, she obviously broke the barrier because her whole thing is break. So she broke out, which was really cool. With Right, of course, she didn't just leave him. I mean, that'd be funny if she just somehow left him behind. But like, she broke the barrier. Then she broke the contract that the Daemons have. So, okay, here's a question. Daemons are a pair, right? If two Daemons merge together, would they be a Daemon or Daemons still? If they're essentially acting as one. because I've been alternating, partially because I forgot, but also because I don't know if they're actually like if they're you consider them Daemons still or Daemon, like Gogeta from Dragon Ball or Vegeta. Like, do they no, they don't consider them plural usually. I don't know. It really doesn't matter, man. I'm just rambling at this point. But she broke the contract and made a new one with Old Blood, and we learned that the Daemon super friendly, very friendly, man. They're adorable. And then she immediately has him get freed with a left, and they before they can turn on the Daemon, Asa explains the situation, and then no hesitation, Asa's like, "Can you point out where your old master is?" And then someone makes a comment about how teenagers are scary because she made the Daemons sell out their old master immediately, no hesitation, bro. That's cool. And then after that, they're like, "Yo, we're going to go after the guy." Yurdu shoots him in the shoulder as the guy starts to run. They capture him. Well, Right captures him essentially. And then from here, it's just a bloodbath, one-sided, honestly. Some cool moments. Let's see. Wrong page. I've taken so many notes, bro. Where am I? Here. Okay. We have one more thing to mention. Bloodbath, as I said. But then Yurdu, he's going to town as well, shooting people. He's shooting people from the rooftops. And he's just really cool, but also really scary. One of the shots of him. Because, like, how they did it, which I thought was really cool, is they had the darkness cover the top half of him. So, like, from, like, I'd probably wager, like, the middle of the stomach and up. Like, just darkness, and you just see, like, red eyes. Yo, that was actually kind of scary, bro. That was really cool. And then, he's just going on a killing spree doing all that. Meanwhile, there's another guy, one of the members of the attackers. He's a swordsman. He's like, "Yo, this didn't work out. I'm out of here." Because he's fucking like, "Yo, this hastily put together group, nah, I'm good." He leaves, presumably. One guy tries to leave, and he is Akio just whacks him in the head with a crowbar, and he's dead, bro. And so let's move on to we took care of the swordsman. The swordsman, he's gonna be a problem. I can't prove it right now, but he's gonna be a problem if he escapes. I actually have no idea if he actually did escape or if it's more like implied that he didn't because Akio was there. But something tells me he probably escaped. And then wrapping things up, they captured some, killed a lot, and let's see, where are we? They have them captured now, and they ask some questions, of course, because that's the smart thing to do. They asked the guy who had the barrier Daemons some questions, and the guy doesn't know anything, but then Haruo's like, "Yo, leave this to me." And he drops a tortoise on the dude's thighs, like legs and stuff, because the guy's kneeled on the ground. And it's just, damn, that's gotta hurt, bro. That dude's gonna need to see a chiropractor after that, assuming he lives. And so he uses the tortoise to crush the guy for info. And they ask a lot of questions about the parents. Unfortunately, there's no leads on the parents. And then I once again mentioned that the swordsman was smart to run. And also the leader, apparently, that like the ragtag leader that put the group together, was a bearded guy in camouflage who ran. But he's the one that Akio killed, unfortunately. And so no one knows anything really about who's involved. And then finally, where are we? Trying to figure out where we are. Trying to remember as well. Okay. Before we get to one final part, the final part that Asa asks the guy, the bald guy who had the barrier Daemons, he asked for the Daemons' names. And the guy's just like, "I don't know, I didn't give them names." And then he proceeds to say how they're livestock, basically, how Daemons are just livestock. And the whole time he's just going off. And then it switches to while he's talking to Gabby-chan. She's upset. I don't know if it's a sadness or anger. It's probably both, honestly. But she's upset. And then the next thing the guy knows is he's about to get his head cut off. Chomped off, I guess. Because she's like holding it. She's holding him ready to go. She's pissed. But then Asa's like, "Gabby-chan, and Gabby reluctantly lets go. And then she goes up to get changed and just go away. Because and that I wrote it down how she takes it personally, treating Daemons like livestock. That leaves me so many questions about her backstory. I have so many questions about everyone, bro. And that's what I love about this show, man. And but before that, the hair, I think the hair, yeah, the hair, is like, yo, Baldy. He didn't say Baldy, but he's like, yo, Daemons have feelings too, and that is true. Well, yeah. Oh, Asa, at some point, I don't remember when this happened, but Asa also had the barrier Daemons go into tiny mode, and they were so cute, bro. They were so adorable. I love those two Daemons, man. They're so friendly and everything, man. Then finally, I also wrote down that this felt too easy. Like they felt captured too easily, if you ask me. And it goes in hand with what the swordsman said about how this was a hastily put together group. Like there's something going on here. My guess is whoever was in charge of the whole thing, they knew this would happen. This was probably a test of their skills, what they can do. That's my guess. And then finally, we learn why Asa's so jaded. Because she died once. I have nothing to say about that. She was killed by a Higashi village assassin at one point. I mean, what do you say to that, bro? That she died once but came back. That should be impossible. So, I don't have much else to say. But actually, okay, I just thought of something funny. I hope this isn't the case because that'll be really stupid. But did the reason she came back to life because she awakened her powers? Do you have to die to awaken your powers, like seal and break? I hope that's not the case, man. That'd be stupid. But, oh well. If that somehow is the case, oh well. I mean, fair enough. At least I was right, but no, I doubt it. But, needless to say, Yuru was surprised. And, with that said, like, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed this so much, and I have more questions and answers, and they have more questions and answers too, bro. They didn't get much information. I am curious how next episode's gonna go, and all that. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here because we are going on 23 minutes on. So with that said, make sure you check out the Patreon down below for the free full-length reaction. I think going forward, at least for now, every I'm gonna do 2 reactions free. 1 reaction will be, well, you have to join the Patreon and pay for it, but then 2 free. Maybe something like that. I don't know, man. I haven't decided how I'm gonna juggle everything, making these free or not. But this one will be free, of course, in the description down below and the pinned comment. But yeah, while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hide the video in the YouTube mobile app, and yeah, leave a comment down below letting me know what your thoughts are on the video and the episode and all that jazz. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So with that said, until next time, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself. Stay safe there, and I will see all you incredible people in the next video.